I've given a million driver lessons, right? Maybe not a million, but let's say thousands of driver lessons. And I see a lot of the same commonalities. I want to give you two simple things here for you to check in your own swing, and then a third little bonus piece at the end, depending upon your current ball flight. Good drivers of the golf ball have the club head traveling into the ball level to the ground, or they hit it on a slight upward angle of attack. That gets the ball to launch the highest and the farthest. Good driving of the golf ball starts with good feet width. Feet close together, ball's even with the lead foot, small step, big step. Good drivers of the ball are gonna be tilted away from the target, right shoulder lower than the left. Now during the backswing, to be able to get this club working from inside on the way down and create enough power, here's the two feels. We call it stomp and stretch. Set up position, step, tilt, and then we're gonna stomp into the heel, stomp, stretch. In today's video, we're going to talk about why amateur golfers can't hit the driver and what you can do about it. I'm going to give you two things to do here as we work through this video that's really going to help your driver, how solid you hit it, how far you hit it, get you hitting more fairways. Now, let's get right to it. Good drivers of the golf ball, what they're able to do is hit level with the ball or slightly up on it. Bad drivers of the ball hit downward too much. I've seen that over the past decade over and over. Good drivers level or up on the ball, bad drivers too far down. Good drivers tend to swing more from the inside on the way down. Bad drivers tend to swing too far outside in. Good drivers tend to hit the ball high, far, right? Poor drivers tend to hit the ball low and short, and those things are correlated. Let's talk about how you can improve and get on that good driver side. So, I've given a million driver lessons, right? Maybe not a million, but let's say thousands of driver lessons. And I see a lot of the same commonalities. I want to give you two simple things here for you to check in your own swing, and then a third little bonus piece at the end, depending upon your current ball flight. The first thing is setup. We said good drivers of the golf ball have the club head traveling into the ball level to the ground, or they hit it on a slight upward angle of attack. That gets the ball to launch the highest and the farthest. The worst drivers of the ball I coach over and over and over always have the club head work too far down. There's no doubt about that. And that part starts with the setup. Here's what I want you to do. This is a simple setup routine that I've used for a long time. Take your setup with the golf ball even with your lead foot with your feet close together and hold the club up right in front of you like so. I want you to start by taking two steps, a small step with your left foot forward and a bigger step with your right foot back. And I want you to take steps to the point where if you drew a line up my ankles, they're outside of shoulder width. A good setup, a good ball position, good driver, right, rather, starts with good feet width. Good driving of the golf ball starts with good feet width. Feet close together, ball's even with the lead foot, small step, big step. Now the second thing is tilt. If you look at my body right now, I hold a club up, this is 180, I'm straight up and down. Good drivers of the ball are gonna be tilted away from the target, right shoulder lower than the left, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 degrees. So as you get your feet width, I want you to put your hands on your quads, legs like this, get your right hand lower than your left, just above your kneecaps. Now in this position here, this gives me the highest likelihood of piece number one, which is hitting level or up on the ball. Let's hit one. And that's gonna have me hitting the ball higher, right, and carry farther relative to your club head speed. So the setup position is the most important piece that I see go off. I work with a lot of players who have this part off. Let's do that one more time. Ball in line with the foot, small step, big step, tilt away from the target. So my ankles are outside my shoulders, my body's tilted away from the target. The golf ball, if we drew a line, is inside of the heel or basically underneath my armpit. that presets my head more behind the golf ball. It's essential for good driving. Feet are wide. I have good tilt. Let's go ahead and hit another one from here. Okay, so now when we get the setup correct, the feet width and the tilt, that again helps us get part one, which is angle of attack. Feet too narrow, not enough tilt, head too far forward, you're always gonna hit down on the ball. Inconsistent contact is gonna go nowhere. The second piece is the backswing, okay? Now, there's several ways we can go about what's important in the backswing, but there's two things I want you to have a little mantra here. So let's get our feet width, step, step, tilt. Now during the backswing, to be able to get this club working from inside on the way down and create enough power, here's the two feels. We call it stomp and stretch. And what that means is when you start back, I want you to stomp into your trail heel, which is gonna help shift some pressure in your trail side, keep the head behind the ball. And stretches, I want you to feel like your right hand and right shoulder travel as far up and back away from the golf ball as humanly possible. So if we were gonna draw a line between my hand and the ball, see that's getting progressively farther as I work back. Now that stretch on the way back, what that's gonna help me do is create swing length and depth. So I want it as far up and back this way to set me up to swing from inside. When you look at the greatest drivers of the ball, outside of a few anomalies, big backswing turn, big backswing length makes life easy. So set up position, step, tilt, and then we're gonna stomp into the heel, stomp, stretch. So when I stretch, I feel my right shoulder stomp into the heel. A little bit of head motion is okay. I feel my right shoulder stretch up and back. I'm gonna feel my hands stretch up and back. Notice the club head and how it's working more towards the target on my way back. Right, I'm getting that club head traveling very far. That's gonna help me swing up on the ball, create more speed, swing from inside. So I'm gonna stomp into my heel and stretch up and back. Stomp, stretch. And there's another ball flight. I mean, you guys can't see that, but that's about as high and as far as I can hit it. The goal here is I want you to hit the ball as far as you can, as solid as you can, without necessarily feeling like you have to swing harder or faster on the way down. By creating that stretch on the way back, it creates the speed for free. The setup pieces are really your foundation, right? So another way I like to feel this, if you put your hands together straight in front of you like this, keep your left hand down by the ball, but let's get this right hand up and back. Notice it's even gonna get closer to the target than my head. Full stretch of that right side, that right hip, that right shoulder, up and back. I'm not leaning towards the target as I do it, but I'm stretching that out as far back as I can. Those are the backswing feels that I want. So one more time, then we'll talk some downswing options. So ball in line with the foot, step, step, tilt. Right, I have my trail hand kind of above my kneecap. I'm gonna stomp into my heel and stretch that trail side out. So good setup position, heads behind the ball. Stomp, stretch. Stomp, stretch that up and back. And those two for me are hit really, really solid. Now that's like the core of what I want you to take from this video, right, is the setup and the backswing piece. Now, of course, from there, what do I do on the way down? Depends on where you're coming from. So there's several pieces on the way down that you can think about. Basically, it depends on your ball flight pattern. So here's kind of a quick one for you. If you're someone from there who typically hits the ball like fades, pulls and fades. Got a long drive tee height here. We got pulls and fades. Let's say your normal ball flight is like low left or it curves off to the right. After you stomp and stretch, you're gonna need to feel like you're closing the club face sooner and having a general sensation that the club path is working more from in to out. So for the fade pattern, you get your setup, step, step, tilt, okay? We're gonna stomp into the trail foot to shift some pressure, stretch the trail side out. Now you're gonna feel like you start closing the club face, toe in front of the heel. Think about it from this angle. Start getting the toe passing the heel sooner during your downswing and feel the club path working a bit more in and out. Let's go ahead and give that a go. Step, step, tilt. You're gonna stomp, stretch, and then close it into out. And you wouldn't necessarily have to do this all at one time. You could build it in steps, but stomp, stretch, and kind of close it into out. And there's probably about a 5-yard draw pattern, and I normally hit like a 5-yard cut, okay? So the draw pattern, close it sooner, swing more and out. Now, if you're on the opposite end of the spectrum and you hit pushes and hooks, your club path already is too far inside out with too much face closure. So after you stomp and stretch, you're gonna feel the club more like on top of the plane, and almost from this angle, like you don't close the face as much. Don't let the toe pass the heel, almost hold that off a little bit more. So if you're more of the draw pattern and you wanna get rid of that, we'll feel the opposite. Step, step, tilt. We're gonna stomp, stretch, feel the club more over plane, kind of outside in, and keep the toe back behind the heel. Stomp, stretch, and more fade feels here. Yeah, and I overdid that fade a little bit. That's gonna be too far to the right, but the general concept and idea there is the same across the board. So listen, the setup pieces, getting the feet width and the tilt is most important. Good drivers of the ball hit level or up on it. Backswing, stomping the shift pressure, getting the trail side to stretch out, gives you swing length and depth. That makes it easiest to create speed and swing from inside. From there, what you do on the downswing depends on where you're currently coming from. If you currently hit pulls and fades, feel the club face closing sooner, swinging more in and out. Keep it simple to start with. If you're already hitting pushes and hooks, feel the opposite. Club outside in, toe behind the heel. Obviously, there's more to the swing, right? If you guys are still struggling with your driver and this doesn't do it for you, come see me for in-person lessons down in Florida this winter. We'll put a link down in the description down for that below. If you can't come for in-person lessons, would love to work with you online at cogornogolf.com/free trial. Get your first lesson absolutely free. We'll take a look at your swing, go through all the details, and set you a specific plan to set you to improve. If you guys did like this video, consider clicking the like button, sharing it with a friend, leaving a comment down below. If you're not subscribed already, we would appreciate that. Thank you guys for watching.